Sharon, we are delighted to be partnering with COABE now and over the past 6 years or so, actually. National Skills Coalition is a broad-based, big tent, bipartisan coalition. Our members come from across the country, rural and suburban and urban areas, workforce boards, community-based nonprofits, community colleges, labor unions and labor management partnerships, businesses, chambers of commerce, really anyone with an interest in worker training and development, how to make sure that businesses have the talent they need and that workers can get the skills they need. And we see adult education as really fundamental to the challenges of making sure that folks have on-ramps to good jobs that can enable them to support their families. And we've seen adult ed get thrown in the spotlight this spring with the pandemic, when many adult educators not only needed to shift quickly to an online format, but often needed to serve as mentors for their peers in the workforce world, who might have been a little slower to shift to an online format, who maybe hadn't done distance learning or things like that before. And so as a field, we've seen adult education both be supporting workforce development and leading workforce development. And we think it's particularly valuable to have COABE's incredible network of practitioners, program administrators, and advocates as we sort of focus national attention on these issues during Adult Education and Family Literacy Week. I'd love to turn it over to my colleague Katie for a minute to talk about how National Skills Coalition really benefits from our members who are sort of co-members, right, who are members of both National Skills Coalition and COABE. We've had adult educators join us on Capitol Hill for Hill briefings and other events. And Katie, can you talk a little bit about sort of how that overlap has looked and sort of how we bring members' voices into conversations with congressional folks?
Absolutely. Thanks, Amanda. And Sharon, thanks for having us to be part of this conversation. It's such an important week in recognition of an important issue. And as Amanda said, it's such a critical time for people that are doing the work on the ground and working with workers and students to be able to drive forward some of the policy pieces that you all are championing and that we do together. The partnership between our organizations, particularly as part of the Campaign to Invest in America's Workforce, a coalition of workforce and education practitioners and national organizations, has been really critical to telling the story of the workforce, higher education, career technical education, and adult education system as an ecosystem up on Capitol Hill. It's such a different experience than many staffers have had. And so to be able to hear from some of your members to tell the story about what adult education looks like, how they're carrying forward, and the importance of these programs to help workers access good jobs and for businesses to find skilled employees has been so critical to flesh out what that entire ecosystem looks like. And right now, as we're celebrating this week, it also coincides with Workforce Development Month. And so being able to make the connections between adult education as a component of workforce development and workforce development as a piece of what adult educators do is really critical to how we're driving forward policies that are going to work for both your members and the folks that they work with.
Thank you, Katie and Amanda. And I would like to say a couple of things. One is, folks, whenever you see, I'm talking to our members here, whenever you see a push come out from us to support CIAW or National Skills Coalition's asks for like the $15 billion ask, let's do it. Let's support them wherever we can. They've been very supportive of the field of adult education and a true partner. Amanda has run a number of webinars for us to really help upskill our own teachers, give our teachers the tools that they need to understand WIOA, to understand how to work with workforce development boards. And Katie's been a wonderful partner as well. I mean, the organization overall is just an excellent partner and a wonderful leader in the field. So I just want to say that we truly appreciate the partnership. We are really grateful for the many ways already that we have found to collaborate. And we want to continue to find additional opportunities. I think one is just to our members, when you see that ask come out from CIAW or National Skills Coalition, please respond, take action. It really helps both organizations. So Katie and Amanda, any last words for our members?
Well, I think I just add that in addition to the federal advocacy, and we certainly appreciate folks signing on, either yourself as an individual or your organization, if you're able to speak on behalf of your organization. If there's something really cool that you're doing, we'd love to hear you brag about it. Tell us about a program that you're pioneering or an initiative that you're launching, because when we lift those up, it really helps make it real to policymakers. What are they funding when they fund WIOA? What are they funding when they fund other investments like the SNAP Employment and Training Program that we know serve a lot of adult learners, for example? So if there's something you're doing that you're proud of, we hope you'll let us know about it. And we work at the state and even a little bit at the local level too. So particularly as your governor and your mayor are thinking about how to spend the CARES Act money that they got from Congress back in March, I know COABE has really been a strong voice in the field, encouraging you to contact your governors and talk to your governors about spending some of that CARES Act money to support adult education. We know that some local areas have already started to think about how to spend that money to support digital inclusion activities, which can touch on many adult learners' lives. So we know, for example, that in St. Paul, Minnesota, Ramsey County is doing that, San Antonio, Seattle, quite a number of other places around the country. So there's lots of opportunities for you to make your voices heard on behalf of adult education and, more importantly, on behalf of adult learners. And we appreciate COABE's partnership, and we also want to sort of galvanize and inspire you. You're not here to listen to us talk, you're here to take action. And so I hope that in taking action, by making your voice heard on Capitol Hill, by reaching out to your governor or your mayor, or just writing a letter to the editor to your local newspaper and connecting the dots for folks. They understand that digital literacy is a need for K-12 learners. They're hearing about it for college students. They're not understanding how crucial it is for adult learners and how important adult education is as part of the path to helping families get more comfortable online in this new pandemic-affected world. So this is a wonderful opportunity for you as advocates to tell the story of your program, even though we know you're still learning and you're still figuring it out, and nobody has all the answers yet in terms of online learning or digital literacy, but we also know there's a lot you have already figured out, and policymakers should know that too. So I just emphasize that piece of the puzzle. Katie, is there anything just message-wise that you'd want to make sure that folks are reiterating whenever they're talking to a policymaker, whether it's state or the local or the federal level?
I think you hit on something that was so critical, Amanda, which is telling the story and making where the funding would go if it's a funding ask and how the policy change would impact actual people, actual learners and instructors is such a critical piece of moving forward advocacy, and just how important this advocacy is right now. We're looking at the rounding towards the end of the funding year and funding process at the federal level, which means that allocations for the next program year are being decided. And as we turn to a new Congress, a whole series of bills that govern our adult education and workforce and higher education system are on the docket for Congress next year. And it'll be critical to be able to educate staffers and policymakers about how crucial adult education programs are in order to ensure that those programs are both funded adequately and that we see the kind of modernization that's going to work, as you said, Amanda, in our current world and as we look forward beyond and through recovery of our crisis.
Excellent. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for taking the time to join me today. I know you're super busy, and so we truly appreciate the partnership. We really want to continue to support your work, and we appreciate your support as well. So to all of our members, again, that's Katie Spiker and Amanda Berkson-Chilcock from National Skills Coalition. Thank you, and do everything you can on the Hill today to talk with legislators about the value of adult education and workforce working together. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sharon.